Hello! In this video we're going to be mixing up paints and exploring all the different colours that we can get by mixing 3 colours. They're called the primary colours. Do you know what the primary colours are? Red, yellow and blue. We're also going to be using a little bit of white. This is our mixing palette. It's from the inside of a chocolate box. And we put some red paint there already. A little bit of white in there as well. The next colours to be mixed, red and yellow. And now, red and blue. If you know what colours we're going to get by mixing these together, why don't you shout them out? My paintbrush is all orangey red, so I'm going to swish it in some water. Is it clean? Let's have a look. Not quite. Give it another swish. Tap it on the side and then wipe it on the side of the container so that the brush isn't too drippy. Now I'm going to mix up the white and the red. Did you guess that colour? Now, the blue and the red is looking a little bit dark. So we're getting a little bit of white. Look what it made. Purple. Did you guess that colour too? And now for a bit of yellow. And a touch of blue. Shout out what colour it's going to make. Blue and yellow make. Green. I bet you guessed that one too. I'm going to give you a little tip. When you want to make a colour lighter, always add the white first and then add a tiny little bit of the colour. Give it a mix. If you're happy with the colour, that's great. But if you wanted to add a little bit more colour, then you can, a little bit at a time. It's always best to add the white first and the colour next. Is that the colour we want? Now this hand belongs to my daughter. She's my little big girl. She's painting her hand with paint. Must be quite wet and cool. Every time she's finished using a colour, she washes her brush in the water pot, swishes it around in the water, taps it and wipes it on the side of the container. I think she's painting a rainbow, don't you? look how wet and painty her hands are. She's turning her hand over and onto some white paper. She's gently placing it down, keeping her hands still. She's using her other hand to press it down really firmly. There's a rainbow hand. The rainbow handprint's drying now. Should be dry in a few minutes. Just enough time to put all of your paintbrushes and water pots and mixing palette into some water. Give them a good wash and let them dry. And then tidy them away somewhere where you'll know where to find them next time. My daughter decided, once her handprint had dried, that she was going to cut it out and stick it onto a card. She wrote inside the card a lovely message to her friend, who she hasn't seen for a very long time, and somebody she's missing very much. She sent them a rainbow wave. It's my turn now. I'm going to cover my hand in this orangey red paint. It's really important that the paint is really wet all over your hand. Nice and even coating. Sometimes you have to paint over one area a few times. Turn my hand over and place it gently onto some paper. Keep my hand still and peel it off the paper. Now I'm turning the painting upside down, and now I'm going to paint the opposite hand. That's made an interesting shape. Hang on. Can you guess what that is? I've made a crab. There are his eyes. I'm drawing in the pupils and the eyelids. And of course there are so many other animals you can make using this technique. Why don't you try making one of these?